from me. I have this headline story. Petroleum's 200 naira per liter as ex-depot price. Jets, logistics, escalate scarcity. On the front page of this day, I have this one. Federal government. Terror alert on FCT by foreign embassies unverified. Misleading. Then on the front page of the Daily Sun newspaper, fuel scarcity spreads, transport fares soar. I have another headline on the Nation newspaper, scarcity, petrol ex-depot price rises to 178 naira per liter. On the front page of the Punch newspaper, I have this headline, Jumbo severance package, Buhari or Shimbajo orders to get 63 billion naira pensioners kick. On the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, President, Vice President, Senate President, Speaker, CJN, Governors, orders to enjoy pay hike. Another headline coming from the Blueprint newspaper, Jonathan to National Assembly, provide specific constitutional roles for vice presidents, deputy governors, orders. Then on the front page of Nigerian Tribune, court nullifies APC primaries in Rivers. Then on the front page of the Daily Times newspaper, Buhari's successor to inherit 39.12 trillion naira debt as borrowings hit 31 trillion naira. On the front page of the Business Day newspaper, Atiku, Obi, Tinubu's energy plans conflict with reality. Then another headline of the New Telegraph newspaper, politics is family business for Tinubu, others. Obi replies Keyamo. On the front page of the Leadership newspaper, federal government chides U.S. Embassy, UK, over security alert. Then, lastly, on the Point newspaper, Ogun PDP crisis worsens. Now, on the review proper, I have with me in the house my regular guest, Citizen Olawe. You are welcome on the program.
Thank you for having me as usual.
Thank you very much. Now, let's start the review of the papers. Let's begin with the Guardian newspaper. Petrol nears 200 naira per liter as ex-depot price, debt, logistics, escalate scarcity.
Well, it is unfortunate that Nigeria, a petroleum, crude oil producing country, is facing this kind of crisis almost all the time. And this has continued for a very long time. I remember that in 1993, when late MKO Abiola was campaigning, he used the issue of petroleum pricing to campaign, and that was why the reason Nigerians actually voted for him, because he said that when he becomes the president, he was going to ensure that petroleum was properly priced according to the cost of production. But unfortunately, now that we do not refine our crude oil, we are losing at almost every end. We are losing the byproducts of crude oil that would have become raw material for other industries. We are incurring the cost of bringing back, of importing fuel into the country, the cost of transportation. And then we have lost the opportunity to use assuming our refineries, we have enough refineries that are working at optimal level. The number of employment that would have been generated by that industry is also lost. The raw materials that would have been available for other industries has also been lost. This also has to be imported. The cost of importing petrol, refined of importing petrol into the country.
Okay.
Also, changes on daily basis, depending on the rate of foreign exchange.
Okay.
Nigeria, unfortunately, is an import dependent economy, and as such, it's like we're not earning enough forex, and on daily basis, the value of our naira continue to depreciate.
Yes.
So these are some of the issues, and then flooding is one of the major reasons why the northern part of or some parts of the country are not having enough fuel supply. But for Lagos not to have enough fuel supply, the argument is that the independent marketer who imports fuel have increased the cost. And this is because they have to sell at the rate at which they buy. The cost are already, like I said earlier, they have to buy with forex. And this rate of forex, it keeps changes almost on daily basis, making it difficult for anybody to plan. They are in business to make profits, so they will not want to run at a loss. I think the solution, the permanent solution to this perennial fuel scarcity is for Nigeria to have Nigerian refineries to work at optimal level. If we have to build new ones, we should go ahead and do just that, and ensure that corruption is also eliminated in that system.
Okay.
The issue of oil theft is also a contributor, because we are losing a lot of revenue to oil theft, making it impossible for us, and that's where they talk about debts. When people import, you promise to pay subsidy, and you are unable to do that. How do you expect, how sustainable is that kind of business for those that engage in that are involved in petroleum import and sale and distribution?
All right. Let's move to the this day newspaper. Federal government, terror alert on FCT by foreign embassies unverified. Misleading.
Well, I don't know if it is unverified. I don't know if it is misleading. But what I know is that there are better ways of handling such sensitive information that can trigger fear, that can add, that can increase the tension in the land. I believe the United Kingdom and the US, the United States of America could have handled that information in a better way than the way they have handled it.
Now, I'm now on the Sun newspaper. The headline has to do with fuel scarcity, which we have talked about. But let's have another story here. Nigeria ready to become global vaccine production distribution hub. Buhari.
That's a great one. I look forward to Nigeria achieving that, because Nigeria used to produce vaccine for other parts of the world in the past. So I don't know what happened. So it will be good news for Nigeria to start producing vaccine, and then that will create jobs for Nigerians, those that will be involved in the production, those that will be involved in the distribution and marketing and so on. So it will create multiple employment for Nigeria, and also help Nigeria to earn the needed foreign currency.
Okay. Now, let's move on the Nation newspaper. The headline has to do with petrol scarcity, but let me move to the Punch newspaper now. Jumbo severance package. Buhari Osinbajo orders to get 63 billion naira pensioners kick.
I think it's actually very insensitive for anybody to talk about hike in severance package of political office holders when, as we speak, Nigeria is facing, the economy is facing, is in very difficult state. We're talking about our inability to pay petrol marketers when they bought fuel in good time. We said we didn't have enough money to meet the demands of ASU. Our health sector is also not in an excellent state. So I don't think this is the time to talk about a hike in severance pay of political office holders. I think what we should be talking about now is how to reduce what political office holders earn, to bring down the level of inflation, to enable us to have enough money to provide the enabling environment that will enable Nigerians to generate employment, to create employment for others, that will enable us meet the consequences or mitigate the consequences of these negative effects of climate change that Nigeria is facing at the moment, that will help us reduce the number of out-of-school children, and also do a number of other things. Infrastructure, there are a lot of our infrastructure that need fixing. So this is not the time to talk about increasing, but about reducing the earnings of political office holders. I think what we actually need to reduce violence in our politics is to make it less attractive financially to actors, to political actors, so that only those who have the mind to serve the people, we just look for such offices, and there will be no need of violence. There will be no need of vote buying or selling. And that is only when Nigerians will reap the dividends of good governance. I think that is what we should be talking about now, not about hike in severance pay. It is quite insensitive. Pensioners who have worked for many years don't get paid in good time. Whereas political office holders, some come in just 4 years, 8 years, and they earn fat pay. Whereas those who have served this country diligently for upward of 35 years will retire without knowing when their severance pay will be, when they will earn their severance pay. Some die without even receiving it. Some always have to resort to protests before they get paid. And this does not affect only civil servants. It affects even military pensioners. And this has their implication for Nigerian economy. I think that idea should be dropped.
Okay. Now, on the Daily Trust newspaper, I have a related story there, but let me move to the Blueprint newspaper now. Jonathan to National Assembly provide specific constitutional roles for vice presidents, deputy governors, others.
I agree. Vice presidents, deputy governors should not be treated as piatias. They should have a specific role to play, stipulated in our constitution or in our electoral laws, so that when they come to office, they know what they are coming to do. And then it will also enable us determine who should occupy that position. Does that person have the capability, the capacity, and the character to hold such an office? It should not be an office for every Tom, Dick, and Harry. It should not be an office that you appoint somebody you want to pay back into, but somebody that will be able to deliver in that office, somebody that will be able to perform the function of his or her office. I agree with former President Goodluck Jonathan that the office should have a proper job description, which should be manned which should be also accompanied by a man's specification for the job. It is a man's specification for the job that will be used to recruit whosoever should occupy that office to enable Nigerians enjoy dividends, good dividends of democracy.
Okay. Now, let's move to Nigerian Tribune. Court nullifies APC primaries in Rivers.
It is unfortunate that our political actors have not learned a lesson. This culture of impunity.
Okay.
There are rules guiding every activity.
Okay.
Why not simply play by the rules? And it's unfortunate that APC is exposing itself to this kind of situation again. It's affected them. They know it's in Zamfara.
Zamfara, yes.
In 2018, they won, but that they lost their victory because the primaries had issues. And then this is one of the reasons why the electoral law has elongated the time frame within which political activities should begin, when primaries should be done, and how it should be done to ensure that we are not faced with this kind of situation. Thank God we'll be saved. INEC will be saved the cost of putting APC symbol on the ballot paper in Rivers State come 2023.
All right. Let's now move to the Business Day newspaper. Article Obi, Tinubu's energy plans conflict with reality.
Like I said, what made late MKO Abiola, Alhaji MKO Abiola, win the heart of Nigerians was his position that our petroleum products must be properly priced. And then it cannot be properly priced if you do not know the cost of production. If you do not ensure that the refineries work at optimal level, if you do not eliminate corruption, if you do not if you are not unable to address the issue of fuel theft or oil theft, corruption must be eliminated at all levels. Our refineries must work. How many refineries do we have that are working? And every time money has been spent on rehabilitating the refineries without Nigerians getting the adequate results. And that is why Nigeria has become dependent on fuel importation. And that is why the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine is affecting Nigerian energy supply and consumption negatively, because it has to be imported. And they lost a lot of revenue. It's been lost on that. Forex is being lost on that, because since it is imported, it has to be bought with imported with foreign currency, whereas we are not generating enough foreign currency to meet our consumption. And that is why Nigeria's economy is in a very bad state. I think the presidential candidates of all parties, not only those three, because I think there are about 18 of them. What are they saying? All of them should look at these issues and address it and tell us how they intend to address these issues and even do more.
All right. Thank you. Let's have another story on the Daily Times before we round it up. Buhari's successor to inherit 39.12 trillion naira debt as borrowings eat 31 trillion naira.
It's quite unfortunate. That was why the former president, the former governor of Central Bank, said that he has pity for whosoever that will occupy that position, because as we speak, it's like our debt is far above our earnings. So whosoever is going to occupy that position must not be chosen on the basis of religion, or ethnicity,
Yeah.
but on the ability, but on the capacity, and the track record of the person to address this kind of economic issues that is capable of destroying Nigeria as a whole. Because if the economic issues are not properly addressed, there is no way we'll be able to address the issue of insecurity. And if the issue of insecurity is not properly addressed, it will be difficult to address the issue of economy, of fixing the economy. And if the economy is not properly fixed, how do we pay our debts?
All right. Our time is fast spent and we have to go now. It is in another way. Thank you for coming on the program today. I appreciate your presence.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Viewers at home, this is where we are going to call it quits for today on the newspapers today. Tomorrow is another edition of the program where you meet another of my colleagues on the newspapers today. Thank you for staying tuned with us. And until tomorrow, I am Kayode Adebayo.